latest ITV news in the Tyne region.
With Helen, Carnell and Ian Payne.
Hello and good evening. Thank you for joining us.
On tonight's programme, an inquest opens into the death of a young soldier killed during a training exercise in Northumberland.
Still suffering, a doctor left debilitated by long COVID says lessons must be learned after a new report shows just how close the NHS came to collapse.
Payne in Spain. Newcastle are out of the Champions League after being thrashed by Barcelona.
And we hear from the man who ran from Newcastle to Belfast in his brother's memory and raised thousands of pounds for charity. First tonight, an inquest has heard the death of a British Army officer killed in a live-firing training exercise in Northumberland. He's being investigated by police and health and safety inspectors.
Captain Philip Gilbert Muldowney from Ireland died in January at Otterburn training area.
An inquest into the 25-year-old's death was opened and adjourned at Northumberland County Hall in Morpeth. Katie Cole reports.
The parents of Captain Philip Gilbert Muldowney attended the opening of the inquest into their son's death via video link this morning. The 25-year-old died on January the 25th at Otterburn Camp during a training exercise. Located in Northumberland's National Park, Otterburn Camp, seen here during another training exercise, is one of the UK's largest army firing ranges. They've been used for military training since 1911. The coroner said that Captain Muldowney had suffered a gunshot wound, which is believed to have entered through his back and exited through his left shoulder. Coroner Andrew Hetherington said CPR was conducted by military medics and ambulance crews, but Captain Muldowney died at the scene. He said the incident was being investigated by Northumbria Police, the Health and Safety Executive and the Defence Safety Authority. The inquest was adjourned and a provisional date for the next hearing set for May the 19th next year, although the coroner told Captain Muldowney's parents he will look at an alternative listing. Their son, who was known as Gilbert's been described by colleagues as a truly kind person who was endearingly joyful, and the Ministry of Defence said he embraced life with a vigour that inspired those around him. Katie Cole, ITV News.
A monsieur from Northumberland has appeared in court charged with 55 sexual offences. 72-year-old Terence Brown from Alnwick faces allegations including sexual assault, voyeurism and one count of attempted rape. The charges relate to 14 women and date between 2011 and 2021. He did not enter pleas during the hearing at Berwick Magistrates Court and will appear next at Newcastle Crown Court in April.
A former North East doctor who has long COVID says it's vital the findings of a new report on the pandemic are acted upon.
The nationwide study into the impact of the pandemic on healthcare found the system came close to collapse, saved only by the efforts of its workforce.
Dr. Susanna Thompson says she's heartened that long COVID is clearly recognised in the report and is calling for more support for those living with it. Our health correspondent Helen Ford reports.
The healthcare systems came close to collapse.
6 years since the start of the pandemic, and Dr. Susanna Thompson needs no reminder of the impact of COVID-19. In its early days, she was working on the NHS front line, treating patients with the virus.
I used to come home from seeing patients who had COVID and I would take my clothes off at the front door and I would go upstairs and jump in the shower straight away because I was terrified of bringing anything back to my family. And you're in a situation where you're seeing people who are really, really sick. I remember seeing a lady who had lower oxygen levels than I'd ever seen anyone alive with in my life.
Today, the third of 10 separate reports has been published, which form part of the overall UK COVID-19 inquiry. It's investigating the country's response to the pandemic, its impact, and crucially, the lessons that can be learned for the future. It's concluded the virus brought the country's healthcare system close to collapse and had lasting effects on a range of communities.
Healthcare workers carried the burden of caring for the sick and dying in unprecedented numbers. It came at a huge cost to them, to their families, to their patients, and to the loved ones of patients.
The report describes an overwhelm of the system, which meant patients didn't always get the care they needed. The fact many patients died in care settings without loved ones present had a devastating impact on bereaved families. And it notes the need to develop a greater understanding of long COVID. Deborah Doyle from Sunderland lost her mother to COVID. She'd been living in a care home at the start of the pandemic. In welcoming today's report, Deborah says it reflects the experiences of families like hers.
Satisfied in the fact that what Lady Hallett has come back with has been exactly the lived experiences of the members of our group. Not satisfied, obviously, because highly angry at the fact that our country was not prepared and the government at the time didn't listen to advice.
Dr. Susanna Thompson also contracted the virus in 2020 and now lives with severe long COVID. Her symptoms include fatigue, joint pain and heart problems. From your perspective, how worthwhile is this report?
I think the report as it stands has the potential to be incredibly worthwhile. It's what's done with it that's going to count. You know, does the government listen? Does the government acknowledge COVID's still here? Does the government acknowledge long COVID is still important?
This doctor doesn't expect to work in her chosen profession again as a result of her symptoms. Worse still, the prospect of a normal life seems equally remote.
Helen Ford reporting. Let's talk more about this with our political correspondent Tom Sheldrick at Westminster. Tom, what's the reaction been there?
Ian, we haven't heard much today from the Conservative politicians who were in charge here during the pandemic. The current Labour government claim they're investing in and reforming the health service to make it fit for the future. They say they're committed to learning lessons from the COVID inquiry and will respond fully once they've considered its findings and recommendations. Those recommendations include increasing capacity in urgent and emergency care in our hospitals and increasing support for health workers. When it comes to long COVID, the NHS is closing its last dedicated clinics in the North East this month. We're told that patients will continue to receive support from other NHS services. But the inquiry report today says it's a cause for concern that the network of long COVID clinics is diminishing and the need for those dedicated specialist services remains. Finally, the COVID inquiry has finished hearing evidence now, but will publish further reports over the next couple of years, including on how care homes were managed during the pandemic.
Tom Sheldrick at Westminster. Thank you very much indeed, Tom. You're watching ITV News Tyne. Still to come on tonight's programme.
Camp Nou nightmare. Disappointment for Newcastle after their Champions League campaign comes to an end in Barcelona.
And although we did see some mild sunny spells developing, this area of clouds still lingering. The better news, though, is it is starting to move away. Brighter weather on the way. I'll have that in your forecast later.
Now, whether it's cycling, walking, driving or catching the bus, getting children safely and efficiently to school is a priority for many parents.
Getting there on time, of course, is the main challenge. And for many parents, a green journey is something of a bonus as well. Hannah Ludlow has more.
The sound of footsteps and excited chatter signals the start of the school day at Anfield Plain Infant School in County Durham. Before any learning can be done, the focus is on the school run.
We walk, but on bad weathers we get the bus because we live about half an hour walk away.
Gets the energy a bit out in the morning. We live just round the corner, so they bring the scooters round.
We try to walk on Brynny's bike, usually the weather, or perhaps when I need to be at work. Are usually the key influences.
Walk, we only live down the road, so just love walking, to be honest.
A new report has found the school run is the biggest source of emissions in English schools. It makes up 21% of a school's carbon footprint. That's more than electricity, which is 11%. An average of 42% of pupils travel by car and only 9% use public transport.
We know, particularly as working parents, that travelling to school by car is often something that you simply don't have an alternative, you just have to do. It's about helping schools, help their population find better alternatives. So I think safer routes to school, helping people perhaps occasionally walk, encouraging kids onto public transport.
The Count Your Carbon tool allows schools to keep track of their carbon footprint. The government wants all schools to have a climate action plan, as it aims to cut education emissions in half by 2032.
We know for a fact, looking at this data, that they're not on track. We also know that an awful lot of schools are making strides, and that's good.
Back in County Durham, teachers say those strides are making a difference.
The class with the most active journeys wins the Eco Bear for the week, and they're all really competitive over that as well. So that's been really positive across school. But another one is just supporting parents with simple things like if we offer more flexible drop-offs to school, that helps them because they've got to get to work and they can come in at an earlier time or a slightly later time. We provide our bike racks and things so the parents don't then have to take those things home with them.
The school run might be a small part of the day, but without action from parents, pupils and teachers, it can leave a big footprint. Hannah Ludlow, ITV News.
Now, food prices have surged in recent years. They're now almost 40% higher than they were at the end of 2020. So what can consumers do to bring down the cost of their weekly shop? Well, this evening's Tonight programme has been looking at whether methods such as using supermarket loyalty schemes actually can help to save money. As an experiment, the reporter, Kate Quilton, asked a shopper, Ashley, to ignore any offers or promotions on products during her regular supermarket shop and just go with the cheapest headline price.
We couldn't find like a actual Greek yogurt that wasn't branded and expensive, but we got the Greek style ones and these were quite a bit cheaper.
Okay, so £1.10 for this pack.
Yeah.
Compared to, you usually spend £3.75, you get 450 grams for
Yeah.
That is
saving.
a pretty good saving.
And you can see more on that in the Tonight programme, Supermarket Prices. Does Loyalty Pay? At 7:30 on ITV1 and on ITVX.
The evening news continues at 6:30 with Lucrezia.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, global energy prices spiral after Iran retaliates, targeting gas and oil supplies in the Gulf. We look at how it's impacting costs here. More reported cases in the meningitis outbreak linked to Kent, including one in London. The Health Secretary says there'll be a wider rollout of the vaccine. Plus, the new coastal path launched by the King, but it's a walk, not for the faint-hearted. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Recently, you may remember we covered the story of Adrian Salem running from Newcastle to Belfast in honour of his brother, former Newcastle United player Michael Newbury, who died by suicide in December 2024.
Well, Adrian raised more than £7,000 for a mental health charity by completing the 175-mile journey, and he stopped by the studio recently to share his story with me. Adrian, it's great to see you. Congratulations on completing your challenge.
Yeah.
Take us back to why you did it.
So it all came from my little brother, really, who inspired us to do this. And I lost him through suicide, which affected me and my family greatly. And since then, I've realised how much it's impacted through the UK, really. Yeah. Men's mental health and mental health in general. So,
tell us about Michael.
Michael was such a loving, caring person. Kind, generous, and he had an infectious smile. His smile would just light up the full room, and just everybody knew. Like, and that's not me being biased because I'm a big brother, but he just was loved by so many.
And
I just wanted
sports person as well.
Successful sports person, professional footballer, had everything going for him, and just I was so proud of him, loved him so much with all my heart, and just I'd run to the end of the earth for him. And that's the truth.
It really brings it home that it's almost impossible to know what's happening inside somebody.
Yeah.
When you tell the story of somebody who was so happy
and
successful like that.
It is. It's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. You can never really get over it, but you've got to learn to adapt and accept. And I would run to the ends of the earth for my little brother. And to honour him, to keep my promise to him, to go and visit him in Belfast. Well, that's what I try to do.
So you linked some of his football clubs, didn't you, as the start and the finish destination and the thread from Newcastle to Belfast. It was only a year ago that you lost him. You haven't dwelt. You're somebody. You're a man of action. It seems. You were on a mission here. What was your mission?
My mission was to honour him, and I never want to forget him. I want to shine his name in light, and I just wanted to. I also kept a promise that I would go and visit him in Belfast when he was playing for two teams over there, Cliftonville and Linfield, and I thought he also represented Newcastle when he was younger, went through the academy, and I just thought, well, I'm going to honour him in the only way I knew I could, and that was still running.
You've raised funds, and you've raised awareness.
Raised funds, raised awareness, and it was for a charity called Tyne, tackling awareness of mental health issues.
What distance did you run, and how long did it take?
So I ran 175 mile in 6 days. But that's a drop in the ocean for my little brother.
Yeah, and I can absolutely get from you that your motivation was so strong.
Yeah.
On those hills, and there's a fair few between here and there.
Yeah, there was ups and downs, valleys and peaks, and
but then there are in life.
100%, and you've just got to take it step by step and persevere and stay resilient.
Do you feel with the interactions and the people you met on your journey that you achieved something more than worthwhile on that mission?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I met so much people who are affected by bereavement, like grievances, and similar to me, and they also stopped and donated and just had a little chat. I keep in touch with people on social media now. Just for an instance, one woman called Carol, I stopped in Scotland, and she lost her husband sadly to the same situation as me, and it was just so moving. I just can't believe it, like how much it actually affects people across the UK and the world in general.
By sharing your story and spreading awareness and keeping Michael's memory and legacy alive, you're doing more than your bit. I suspect we're going to be talking to you again, because I guess you've got something else up your sleeve. But for now, Adrian, thanks for coming in and telling us all about it, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Good man.
Top man. Thank you.
Great to have a chat with him. If you've been affected by any of the issues that Adrian has discussed there, you can find services where you can receive support on our website. itv.com/TyneTees is the address.
On to sports. At half-time they were hopeful. By the end they were humbled. Newcastle United's Champions League adventure came to an end in Barcelona last night.
The Magpies lost 7-2. Simon was there. He's back now, as you can see. A lot to unpack there, Simon, from your whirlwind trip to Spain.
It was an epic evening. All right, it was epically terrible for Newcastle at the end, but I would rather they had a go and lost like that than just accepted a boring, timid 2-0 defeat. For 45 minutes, they showed us all what was possible. The problem was that Barcelona then showed them what is required at this level. Now, in one sense, the scoreline doesn't really matter because it's knockout football, and if you're out, you're out. But 7 is a nasty number, so that hurt, and it was a reality check. But look, there's value in a reality check for a club that is as ambitious as Newcastle United. And the fans had a great trip, even if the result wasn't great. You'd forgive Eddie Howe and his team for wanting to go home and lie down in a darkened room after that, but they can't. They've got to pick themselves up out of this weekend's Tyne derby against Sunderland and quickly process the events of an always unforgettable and occasionally unforgivable night in Barcelona. In hindsight, you wonder if it was wrong to hope. Was playing Barcelona in Barcelona on the biggest stage just a step too far? Not at first, not in that first half. When sifting through the wreckage, remember that Newcastle United's first half performance in the Camp Nou was electric. Anthony Elanga scored twice. The Magpies were fearless. They took the game to Barcelona. Even that late penalty given by VAR didn't really spoil what had been a stunning first half. The fans had hope, but what they didn't know was the wheels were about to come off. The Newcastle Champions League veteran takes up the story.
Obviously, the first half was end to end, wasn't it? It was a brilliant game. Disappointing that they could see the penalty right on the stroke of half time, but even still, at half-time felt very much Newcastle were still in it. I think Barcelona showed their quality after that. They were too good on the ball and just passed the ground. So very frustrating. Obviously a heavy defeat for the lads to take as well.
Things got away from Newcastle quickly. A little more than 10 minutes into the second half, the game had gone. 15 minutes later, everything had gone, including discipline and dignity. Barca saw blood in the water and set about Newcastle like sharks. Look at the names of their scorers: Lewandowski, Rafinha and Lamal. Champions League heavyweights, young and old. Newcastle may have landed punches in the first half, but they were lightweight in comparison.
Today's a harsh scoreline on us and a painful experience. To see the players playing the way that we did in the first half, it was a great feeling and a great sight, and I don't think that should all be forgotten with the scoreline, as difficult as that is for everyone to see. Certainly in the first 45 minutes, that's not reflective of how the game was.
First half, very good. We was all over him everywhere. Second half,
rubbish.
Terrible.
Gave away that penalty at a really bad time at the end of the first half, but still proud of the team nonetheless.
I thought we were doing okay in the first half, but then in the second half we just seemed to fall to pieces.
Barcelona, yeah, they're a good side. They're a very good team, but they're not 7 goals better than Newcastle. Right, Newcastle gave them 5 of them goals.
It's fantastic. We're here. Could have, should have, would have, but it isn't. So there you go.
There are questions about what it would really take for Newcastle to compete with Europe's finest, and questions about whether they'll even play in Europe next season. But when the next game is Sunderland at home in the Tyne derby on Sunday, those questions can wait.
We've got to play like our lives depend on it. It's such a big game for the city, for our supporters, for everyone connected with the club. We know that. We knew that before the first game. We know it even more now. So we need to deal with this very quickly and then look to Sunday.
Back in Barcelona city centre, pre-match pride became post-match melancholy for Newcastle's magnificent travelling fans.
Outstanding result at home, so we thought we were going to get a better result here, but it just didn't happen.
Best team for 90 minutes, 135 minutes, bit even, 180 minutes, men against boys, but we'll go again.
They've done well, the lads, haven't they? They've given us some good times as well. Tonight's not good, but maybe next time.
When the Leverkusen, when the Belgium come here, I was in Marseille before here. So, well, yeah, had a great time. It's over. Till the next time.
This Champions League campaign took the fans to Belgium, France twice, Germany, Azerbaijan and Barcelona, which it turns out was a step too far. But it was such fun while it lasted, they can't wait to do it all again, and no, it's never wrong to have hope.
Oh, I thought it was the hope that kills you.
It's the hope that keeps you going.
Yes.
Hope that keeps you going.
That's the
Really
spirit. We were saying this time yesterday how they might have been a bit chilly over there, those fans, compared to here. We've had some really
We had milder
nice
temperatures here, and maybe that had an impact. Who knows?
It's just too cold.
Simon did confirm it was chilly in the stadium, and people would turn up in their shorts and t-shirts, and were feeling it.
Good stadium.
But we got punished today with chillier temperatures and more in the way of cloud. Although the cloud has been moving around, and so some of us did get those brighter breaks developing. And again, where we did see the sunshine, those temperatures were reaching the mid-teens, very mild for the time of year. Of course, it's the equinox tomorrow. There is more strength in the sun at this time of year. The UV levels are climbing, and you may have noticed that so is the pollen levels. They got up to very high today, and it's similar into tomorrow. But you may be thinking, I've escaped it this year. But no, this is a very specific type of pollen. We're in the tree pollen season, so it's hazel, yew and alder, the likely culprits if you have been sneezing today. If you're not, your time for sneezing may well come. The vast majority of people, it's grass pollen.
It's on the way.
It's on the way.
Definitely. This is the start of the season, isn't it? This is when I start taking my tablets.
Yeah.
And I've been looking up, it's very wise. You take it to...
And they build up, and then by the time the grass pollen comes, I'm protected.
You're good to go. Well, you've got till May, so you've got a little while to plan your pill taking. Yeah. We're all in it.
Thanks for sharing it.
Well, there you go.
It's a lovely sign of spring, though, isn't it? Along with those shorter nights. Although we do want the dark nights for a little while, just a little heads up here. There are signs the aurora is becoming active again today, but we need the cloud to clear. Is it going to? Let's take a look.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. 2 week sponsors ITV Tyne weather.
The cloud has been thinning and breaking at times, but for many of us it has lingered. Overnight it's slowly starting to drift away. We're left with some clearer skies, a chillier feel into tomorrow. It's settled with those lighter breezes and also looking brighter, certainly more in the way of sunshine, and with that sunshine our temperatures still holding up. So high pressure's in control at the moment, keeping things nice and calm. There's the front that brought the cloud today. It's slipping away. Through tomorrow morning, the cloud's still lingering at times, but it clears through. We're left with brighter skies, certainly into Saturday, the first part of Sunday as well. There's plenty of that spring sunshine. It's only later on Sunday from the north the cloud starts to increase. We can see a little bit of patchy rain, but it also signals some chillier air spilling its way down from the north. For now, though, yes, there's quite a bit of clouds around, but it is starting to disappear. From the north, we have some clearer skies through this evening, and it's here we're going to see some patches of mist and murk developing first. In fact, into the early hours, where we do get any prolonged clearer skies, we'll see that risk of mist, but also temperatures dipping down into the low single digits. The values here for those more built-up areas. So into tomorrow morning, bit of a chill in the air first thing. Quite a bit of cloud. Any mist and murk is disappearing. The clouds starting to melt away. A lot of this here, just that high-level cloud turning the sunshine hazy. But it's dry, it's bright, and highs of a very mild 17 degrees. Through Friday and into Saturday, high pressure still very much in control. Calm overnight. Chilly start into Saturday morning. But again, we are looking at plenty of sunshine as we start the weekend.
TUI sponsors ITV Tyne Tees weather.
Thanks, Ross. Not looking too bad. In just a moment, the national and international news.
I'll be here with the update for you at about 10:30. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.